Morning. I did this watercolour some while ago. I like it, but the photograph is not very good. I took it with my tablet and the lens needed a bit of a clean. And the whole series of photographs turned out a little bit grey. But anyway, I'm not going to copy it. I'm going to do something like it. It's just a bit of an inspiration because I'm not really sure of what I want to paint this morning or for this one. So I'll quickly go around my materials. We've got this tray, dirty. I'll give that a bit of a clean. I shall be doing some acrylics and oils soon. Knife paintings probably. I love working with a knife. It's great. It's like when you don't do sort of plastering, bricklaying, pointing, crazy paving for a living. When you do it like, as an artist with a knife, it's like that. There's just something about it that is really nice. Moving paint around. It doesn't always turn out very well, but hey, it's good fun. Right, here we are. Cadmium yellow. Raw sienna, that's quite loose, it hasn't dried on the palette yet, and there's a bit of new burnt umber, which I'm trying to use more of. Alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey, and this burnt sienna, which I'm sacrificing for a while in favour of the burnt umber. And I can give it the burnt umber a ready feel, I'll just blow my nose, with a bit of light red. So, a lakeland scene, it doesn't have to exist, it doesn't have to be anywhere in particular, but working from your own material is always better than working from second-hand stuff. I made this the original painting up as I went along without any planning, and I know if you don't plan, you end up with an unplanned painting that's probably not very good and glaring mistakes and so on. But with a lot of experience, you can do that. You can make things up, and they're more or less abstract, in that you put your own emphasis on certain areas. You can enhance them, make them unreal, but just enhance them. You just have fun. Just enjoy the process of painting. I'm enjoying my cup of tea. I'm determined to talk to you until it's drunk, because if I don't, I'll forget it's there and it'll go cold, and there's nothing worse than cold tea. Okay, the paper is Fabriana, £130. I'm not sure if you can get this outside of the UK, but it's supplied, well, I buy it from Art Discount Granthams. I've also bought it from Curtis Ward, that's the UK, in the UK. It's a good paper for wetting wet, and the 45mm large Ron Ranson hake. There are other types of hake, different makes, but this is a Pro Art one, the one that Ron Ranson developed with Pro Art. And if you've known me for any length of time, you'll know that I am very much influenced by the techniques of Ron Ranson, not his painting so much. I don't think he ever put himself up as a great artist, but he was a great teacher. And his is the method that I use. You don't have to paint the whole sheet if you don't want to with water. You can go down, but so you can paint round objects, and then you can wet the rest later when the top half dries. The only problem with that in this lighter paper is that the bit you've wetted will buckle and expand, whereas the bit that's dry won't. But by wetting it all over to start with, it will dry uniformly, crumbled or flat. You can just reclip it as it expands. I've got the painting at about 40 degrees, something like that. It's a compromise between, let's have some sienna. Compromise between the paper, the paint running, or the water running down from vertical to flat where Paul probably. Whatever suits you, but I've got to do it for the camera. So I just go all over that with a bit of nice sienna. I'm going to keep the light of this in the middle. Okay, so we'll put in some reds and some reds and blues. It's a little bit hard, that is, so let's just get that in. It's a very cold day today. I think it's trying to snow, but I don't think it will. I don't think it's really expected. So we're going with some blue and some red. I really want to get that nice and soft, that blue. I want a dark two reds. Go for it. Right, okay, that'll do. That's fine. Just going to clean the brush. No, I'll give that a reclip. Just take the bit off the bottom there. Okay. Right, now we've put in some hills. I'll use a bit of Payne's Grey in with that. Okay, let's just get in there with so I'll take it right off the page, and then we'll add some nice bit of sienna, straight out of the tube, that is. A bit of umber. I'm going to leave this bit unpainted there because I'm going to put in a tree there. Overdone that a bit. Bit of yellow. Bit of blue in with that yellow. I'm going to put in some bit of dark in there. I've just lifted up any old colour in this really. So I'm going to put some trees in that area there. Right, let's I'll put a little bit of reflection in that, I think. Put some of that in there. Okay, that will do for that. I want to put some dark trees in. So I'll have a bit of the yellow, a bit of the Payne's Grey. A lot of the Payne's Grey actually. Just get that in here. And some dark shadowy colour in here. Right, while that's drying off, I'm just going to just do this beachy sort of. A bit of blue and a bit of this and a bit of that. I'm going to etch into this. Nice darks in there, bit of umber, bit of blue. It's almost tube consistency. This is a bit of rigger work in here. Right, ochre of sienna. Bit of darker stuff. The brush is so dry now that it's splitting, but that's okay. Not worried about that. I might have got a bit too overdone with those, but this is the edge of the sort of lake. I like the way the sky is drying. The thing is, and I know some of you have a real problem with the strength of your initial washes. Remember that watercolour dries much lighter than when you put it on. So be bold to start with because it'll all dry back. Right, let's put a bit of bluey yellow for the tree. Bit of warm in it as well. So let's have a bit of blue in there. Right, that would be my basic tree. We'll put in some bit of that, a bit of right. Okay, let's get the card. The only problem with the card scraping out with it is you can tend to overdo things, and there's nothing like overdoing it. It's like using tissue. You can, a little goes a long way. You can overdo so much. I don't use the tissue very often, but I do use a card, and I'm guilty of overusing this for rocky shores or highlights and so on. But it's so simple. Okay, well, just put in some little bits of here and there. Okay, so there we are. We can add some more dark on that a bit later. I just want to dry that. Now I want to put a little bit of detail in this tree. Right, I'll do it with a rigger. hold the rigger at the end so that you get a more impressionist feel to your twigs and branches. Look, just go all over the place and it looks more random. Get a bigger tree in there. We'll have more in there, a bit more blue. Like that too. Just a few of them. We'll put in some. Could put a bit of. My phone's going. Not in. Making my darks out of the blue and the burnt umber. Bit of dry brush there. Right, okay. I'm going to use a little bit of well, I'm going to clean some of that out actually. I'm going to just open it up a little bit there. So just clean the brush. Now when you clean your brush, you can squeeze the hairs, but don't pull them. If you haven't got a hake yet, they're cheap. Run around some Pro Art hake. Get a hold of one or two, maybe about £7. They last for a long time. They get heavily used. Now I want a bit of tissue just to dry what I'm going to wet, because I've gone a little bit over the top here. Probably because it was all too wet, just a little bit wet. Let's take a little bit of that out there. Right, okay. Let's take a little bit out there. Right, okay, now that's a little bit better. Now with a bit of this gouache, which is almost solidified, I just want to put in some little boats. I don't want to lift them out, I don't want to put them in. Right, I don't want to do any more than that because it will look a bit overdone. Now I'll clean my brush, put the lid back on and put a couple of birds in, maybe a little rowing boat or something. Okay, put a little bit of grass. just a little bit of foreground here, and that'll be about it really. I don't want to do any more than that. I'll put it in a mount. I hide the picture, the photograph, because it doesn't mean anything now. This is totally different to what I did before. But the elements are there. I've got my tree on the left. It's a sort of an L-shaped. So I don't think it's quite as good as the one I did before, but hey, it's a painting, isn't it? Painting on a very dull morning. Right, let's get that fixed. And fixed there. Okay, well there we are. So I've angled these so that it sort of comes to some sort of focus, but it just leads you in, but it leads you off again as well. I suppose we could put a bit of a, yeah, let's just put a little block at the end there, stop you falling off the edge of the paper. So I used the rigger. Okay, let's just. Right, that'll do. That just stops you from sliding off the edge of the picture. Okay, let's bring you round and alter the shape of the angle of the board. Okay, so there we are. We've got a bit of distance. Oops, the other way. Got a bit of distance here. That I should have connected up there, but I missed that. And we're going off in. So we've got something behind. We've got the sky as a plane. We've got the plane behind the middle distance. We've got this plane, and we've got that. So it's quite a lot of variation in all of that. That I think we could probably just put in a little bit of something there, dark green or something. Let's just. The brush is so dry there. Okay, that'll do. I just did a bit too many scrapings there. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let's come out again. I quite like that, it looks alright on the screen. Well, there we are. See you soon, bye bye.